Hello and welcome to Your Stocks in the Mumbai News Studio. I'm Ekta Batra. Well, it's turning out to be a session where we are seeing some amount of recovery which is taking place for the markets. We have the Bank Nifty, which is up around 0.5%. We have the mid-cap index, which has moved into the green as well. And the advanced decline ratio, which has improved a tad bit. It's still on the declining side in terms of a ratio, but it's improved a tad bit. Now, nonetheless, we have a lot of stocks to discuss. And, IT continues to be the toast of the market. TCS is the top gain on the Nifty, up around 6.5% followed by the likes of Wipro, which will be coming out with its numbers soon. So in the next couple of days, that stock is up around 5.5%. But before we kick off the show, let's get in some views from Godrej Consumer Products, which has announced the development of a new formulation in its Goodnight Flash. Speaking to my colleague Shilpa, the MD and CEO said that it has been developed indigenously in India for the first time and expects this to drive double-digit growth for its home insecticides category.
I think the molecule is quite a breakthrough. Every decade or so, the category requires a new molecule because over a period of time, mosquitoes, like human beings, develop a resistance to molecules and antibiotics.
Right.
But what's unique about renofluthrin is, after a long time, we're getting a new molecule, but it's a completely indigenously developed molecule by one of our partners, working in close collaboration with us. So we're very proud that we're not just getting a molecule from outside and making it in India, but we have designed, developed, and patented it in India for use in India.
Right. You've patented it with a partner. Can you quickly run me through who the partners and you have, and how long is this exclusivity in terms of the molecule used for you? And how much do you see this now contributing to the growth of the home insecticide segment?
So the partner is a company called Shogun, who's been working with us for many years in developing this molecule. And we have a long relationship, so we certainly have exclusivity for 6 to 8 years, and we'll see after that.
What are your expectations from the budget in terms of revival of consumption? What do you think needs to be the focus from a consumer angle?
I do hope that some amount of money and stimulus is directly given in the hands of rural consumers. I think there's a need for rural consumers to get some kind of stimulus so that the cycle kicks off, because once they get it, they start spending, the rural economy takes off. We have got some excellent over the last few years. So much work has been done on direct transfers and the ability to go to banks. So something like PM Kisan, if it is expanded, will certainly from a consumption point of view be a good thing.
Okay, all right. So that's Godrej Consumer. Well, joining us today, Shahina Mukadam, independent market expert, and Vaishali Parekh, head of tech research at Prabhudas Lilladher, to answer all of your queries. Vaishali, as well as Shahina, welcome to the show. Well, Vaishali, before we, start getting those queries, what would you look at? I mean, what would you assume in terms of today's market? Because the Nifty is now cruising very comfortably above 24,550 odd at this point in time. It's up around 1%. The sensex is also building on those gains at around 80,700. So it's looking good in terms of traction for the markets. What would your call be?
Very good afternoon, ladies. Yes, market has been doing very well, and thanks to the IT stocks today, in fact, thanks to TCS, we have seen a good run-up coming, and today we are seeing a good momentum coming in the banking stocks also. So I would say now that we are holding 24,500 levels very decisively, I think we could now be looking at 24,650 to 700 levels, and the support levels are elevated now to 24,300. Likewise, even Bank Nifty yet to show some further strength. We are still well within the range of 52,000 as support and 53,000 as the target resistance. Only above 53,000, we would be looking at higher targets.
Okay, all right. Anything specific on a couple of these IT counters?
So yes, actually there are a couple of stocks, and I think most of them are having a similar pattern. We have seen TCS doing very well. Now it's time for Wipro to show some momentum, because Wipro is already showing strength, but it has also given a decisive breakout this morning. So I think if we sustain well above 545, we are looking at the next target of 600, 620. Likewise, even HCL Tech, we really don't give a view once the results are there. But well, technically, purely on technical levels, I think if it sustains above 1570 levels, I would say it is heading for a target of 1650 to 17.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have Kritika Bose now, who writes to us from Kolkata, holds 5 shares of Titan, which he's bought at around 3,512. she's sitting on a loss, but she wants to know what to do, whether it is available or whether it is advisable to hold for the long term or not. Well, that is the key question, Shahina, whether one should probably hold on to Titan for a longer period of time, and one could probably recover from these losses. What would your target be on the fundamentals?
Well, if you're a long-term investor, it is one of the stocks that you could keep in your portfolio, considering the, very niche space that it is in, and of course the strong management, the growing market share for the organized space. At the same time, any disappointments in performance actually results in a correction or consolidation in the stock price, which is what we witnessed in the first quarter, in this last couple of months, because the last numbers were a bit disappointing. After almost 2 years, they showed a marginal growth, the slowdown in growth, just about 9%, when always they reported double-digit growth. Gold prices are high and are likely to continue to remain high. So this problem is likely to continue on for a couple of more months, impacting the margins a bit. So at the same time, I think, because valuations are very high, if you look at it from an EV by EBITDA, it's 45 times, or PE, it is 26 times. A short-term investor has to have patience. It may consolidate further. But the longer-term investor, I think it's a decent stock to hold.
Okay, all right. And what about the technicals? How does that look, Vaishali, on Titan?
So I think Titan, the long-term trend is pretty much intact, and I think we've seen just a little bit of correction. So keeping in mind, 3,100 acts as a very good support. So in my view, she can even add more at these levels, because seeing the long-term chartical presentation, I think this is likely to retest 3,500 and higher. So in my view, no harm averaging at these levels also.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have another query now. We have Amey, who writes to us from Mumbai, holds 300 shares of Yes Bank, which he's bought at around 22. He wants to know what to do, whether to continue or to hold this particular stock. So currently sitting on a bit of a profit here. Well, a lot of these numbers are going to start trickling in soon. So Shahina, from that perspective, from a Q1 perspective, do you think that one should probably hold on to a stock such as Yes Bank, or maybe take some profits?
Ekta, I believe that one should hold on, because in the first quarter also, I believe the deposits are likely to do much better than the advances in terms of, their fundraising and deposits. So the number should be pretty healthy. Price to book also about 1.8, not expensive. And I think the main kicker will come finally when the M&A, actually what is expected over the medium to longer term, comes in. So you can keep a stop loss, but I would say continue to hold.
Okay, continue to hold, but a stop loss on that one. Any stop loss, Vaishali, and target that you would recommend on Yes Bank?
Sure. So Yes Bank actually now, after a very long time, has once again come in the positive territory. I would say that because it's sustaining well above a cluster of moving averages. So for now, I would say 24 rupees should be taken as a stop loss. And this stock needs to move past 28 levels decisively. So once we see that, there is a clarity for further higher targets of 33 levels.
Okay, all right. Well, given good returns in the past 12 months, that's Yes Bank for you. We do have Rajiv, who now writes to us from Karnataka. He holds 100 shares of Bharti Airtel, which he's bought at around 630 odd rupees. So he's sitting on a very good profit there. He wants to know what to do, whether he should hold or book his profits. Well, Vaishali, let's start with the technicals on this one. It's been a one-way street from the buy price. But what would you recommend? Do you have a target on that? And what would your stop loss be?
Yes, so if we are looking at a longer term perspective, I think the stock can go towards 1,700 to 2,000 levels. But all the same, market has really run up quite a bit. So if he wants to even book right now and then perhaps add at lower levels, I would just give the levels. 1,400 should act as a near-term support, because if these support levels break for some time, we can see the stock moving towards 1,380, 1,350 levels, and I think that is a level that I think one can really re-enter this stock. So that is how I would look at this stock for now.
Okay, and on the fundamentals, Shahina?
Well, the sector, of course, is likely to do well both in the shorter term as well as longer term. The recent price hikes that telecom companies have taken between 10 to 20% across plans, of course, that will start reflecting in the near-term earnings also. And over the longer term, I believe ARPUs will look much better. The analysts are estimating ARPUs to be close to about 235 for the current year. So definitely things look better in terms of earnings. So definitely one can continue to hold Bharti in your long-term portfolio.
Okay, all right. Hold Bharti in your long-term portfolio. Well, we have Shalu Sharma now, who writes to us from Chandigarh, holds 40 shares of Zomato, which he's bought at around 90 odd rupees. She's asking what are the prospects like for her particular investment. She's sitting on a good profit there. Buy price was 90 odd rupees. And the stock has done really well. Year to date, it's done fantastically. If you look at it even on a 1 year basis, that stock has given returns of around 150% plus. So technically, any target on this one, Zomato? Shahina?
Yes.
Sorry, Vaishali?
So technically, I think there is no sign of exhaustion at all. I think even right now it's 220, and I think it can still further go towards 235, 240. That is the level where one should have a look. I think partial profit booking at 235, 240 should be done.
Okay, and what about you, Shaina, in terms of the fundamentals, Zomato, how would you approach it?
Well, the stock continues to do pretty well, both in terms of, I would say, stock price. Even this current month, it's up 20% over the last 1 month. And in terms of fundamentals, we may see the first quarter see some bit of a contraction in margins because of the very big expansion that they have across the country. But at the same time, with Blinkit, doing very well, Zomato having turned into profits, I think it is wise to continue to hold on for the medium to longer term.
Okay, all right. Well, that's on Zomato. That stock is doing well today. It's up around 1.4%. And remember, it's a strong market because we have the sensex, which is now sitting at a record high as well. So very comfortable in today's trading session. It's been a reversal also, and then a build on gains, which we've seen really in today's trading session for the broader markets, especially for the mid-cap index is really built on gains. There's been a buy on dips, which has taken place, and that's pretty much been the strategy or the trend that we've seen in the past couple of trading sessions. So 24,575 currently for the Nifty, 80,763 for the Sensex. Take a break and we'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, we still have with us Shahina as well as Vaishali to answer all of your queries that we have in today's trading session. For the markets, like we've been pointing out, it's a very healthy day. We have it really led by the IT sector, which is really leading from the front at this point in time. In fact, the index, the Nifty IT index, is currently at around 39,151, up around 5% But let's get in another query now. Shirish Pradhan writes to us from Kolkata, holds 10 shares of MGL, which is bought at around 710. So sitting on a profit there. He's a long-term investor and wants to know whether he can hold for another 10 more years. He seems to be a long-term shareholder. So Shahina, from that perspective, it's difficult to give a call from a decade from now on what would happen with MGL. But what would your call be on a long-term basis for this stock?
I think it looks good even for the shorter term. Long term, definitely, the city gas companies look good. Shorter term, I think the budget may have some positives, some rationalization for excise duty taxes. So one should actually continue to hold at current levels, even for the shorter term. I believe, the a small hike in rates that they have passed on earlier this last couple of weeks, that also should be positive for the overall margins for the company. Valuation wise, it is one of the cheapest among the space peer group. So yeah, it's a good hold.
Okay, all right. So that stock has done well as well. Vaishali, from a technical perspective, I know 10 years is too long a time, but on a short-term basis, how does MGL look?
Okay, so I'm going to go on a monthly chart. Yeah, I guess, yes, it's in a good upward trend. So it continues to show strength. But well, I would always mention that 1500 should act as a support. My view changes if we break 1500 levels and we could see some corrective move. But till then, I think it's a hold. Look for a target of at least to start with 2200. That's what I can see. And then from there on, we can have a relook.
Okay, all right. Well, Pramod Kamble now writes to us from Goa, holds 15 SBI Life shares, which he's bought at around 1240. He wants to know the prospects of this particular investment. Technically, what would your approach be towards this stock, Vaishali? And then I'll toss it over to Shahina for the fundamentals.
Sure. So technically, I would say you asked me about HDFC Life, right? So, well, these days we are seeing all these stocks, SBI Life, HDFC Life, they're all doing very well. SBI Life, in fact, is ready for a breakout. So I think continue holding. And both these stocks look very, very promising. So I think continue holding. You can see much higher returns from here on.
Okay, all right. Shaina, over to you on these life insurance companies.
Well, shorter term in this quarter, maybe we will see some impact of the new regulations of, or maybe let us say in this year, we'll see a few, the impact of the new regulations by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, wherein, the surrender value, there have been some changes in how it is to be valued. For at least for more than a year. So to that extent, there may be some small impact, but in terms of valuation in the peer group, SBI Life is very well placed. Of course, LIC is also good. So these two could be investments in this space because the overall market growth potential is pretty high for the longer term investor. So yeah, you can continue to invest, hold.
Okay, all right. Continue to invest and hold. Well, that's on SBI Life and a lot of these life insurance companies which have been in focus. Well, we do have Sahil Sharma now who writes to us from Mumbai. He holds 45 shares of Tejas Networks, which he's bought at around 811. Doing well on that stock. He wants to know the prospects of this particular company. Shaina, do you look at Tejas Networks?
Yeah, I think after the change in management, there has been a lot happening in terms of new research, R&D that's being done and new products that they are planning to launch in the pipeline. It's a turnaround stock. So one, I don't think I will look at it in pure PE valuation numbers as of now. Give it some more time, but it is a stock that I believe will give you a decent return, new technology. So it's a stock that one can look to invest in or hold.
Okay. All right, and what about you, Vaishali? It's given returns of over 80%, 85% in the past 1 year on Tejas Networks. What, do you see further upside on the technicals?
Definitely, the trend is very much intact. In fact, currently also it's at a good level to start accumulating once again. To those who have not bought, keeping 1300 as support, start accumulating this stock because the next projection that we are looking at is we are heading towards 1700 in Tejas Network. So that's my view for now.
Okay, all right. Well, Veena now writes to us from Mumbai, holds 5 shares of Hero Moto, which is bought at around 2,300. She wants to know what to do, whether she should keep holding or book profits and buy another stock in the same space. Well, a lot of these auto stocks have been in focus. M&M, for example, has been one of the top losers this week, losing around 6% of 5 to 6% of its market cap. But for Hero Moto, very linked to what's going to take place in terms of rural consumption. Shaina, your thoughts?
Well, rural consumption is picking up, and all this is reflecting well in the numbers for Hero. You've seen it over the last couple of quarters, and I expect numbers should do better even in this year. Having said that, I think the increase in competition that we're likely to see, especially from the EV two-wheeler space over the medium to longer term, I would believe that it is better to switch from Hero. You could hold some auto component stocks in my view, which actually give you an exposure across the space. So I would suggest a switch. Something like could be a Motherson wiring or could be something like a Minda, but I would prefer the auto component space to Hero.
Okay, all right. So you would probably consider the auto component space at these levels as well. Vaishali, over to you on Hero Moto, and within the entire auto space, what would your top pick be?
So I would say actually Hero Moto has really shown a good run up, and right now it's at a make or break level. Even the monthly chart, long term period, I'm seeing it's very much in the overbought zone. So I think if there is some profit booking coming in, these stocks will definitely witness some profit booking. But compared to that, I think Maruti is still not participated to that level in the auto sector. So my view still continues to be positive in Maruti, because I think once we see a good momentum setting in all likelihood, this can go towards 14,000 levels. And likewise, even Tata Motors is still showing a lot of strength. So I still feel that yes, these are preferred stocks as compared to Hero Moto. And as China was also mentioning about auto ancillaries and all, I would also feel that have a look at Samvardhan Motherson, because that also, I mean, though it has run up, but I think still further upside potential is quite a bit. So these are the stocks which give more clarity for further upside.
Okay, all right. So that's on Hero Moto as well as the entire auto space. For today, it seems to be all about the IT space. We have the Nifty IT index, which is surging, so it's up around 4.87%. A couple of other stocks besides IT, which we've been pointing out throughout, which are doing well today, includes IFCI, which has done very well this year. IFCI has given returns of 140% on a year-to-date basis. The stock is up around 13.5% at this point. BML Land is up around 6% given returns of 65% this year. InfoEdge is also doing well in today's trading session, along with a couple of others such as Brigade Enterprises. But that's all the time that we have in this show. Do remember to email us your questions. We'll address them with our experts. Closing that up next.